Ever get that feeling?
Yeah.
Like late at night when everything's quiet and you wish there was someone to talk to, someone who really gets it, you know?
Oh, absolutely. That need for connection, especially when the day's over and everyone else is off doing their thing, it's pretty universal.
It really is. And that's actually what we're going to be diving into today. We're taking a look at Candy AI. It's this new AI companion that's been getting a lot of attention online. Some people are saying it's like the future of how we connect with, well, with AI, I guess.
Hmm.
But others, not so sure. So we're here to figure out what it is, who it's for, and if it's actually as amazing as some say. We've got some interesting stuff to work with for this deep dive.
We do. There's this video overview of Candy AI. It shows off what it can do and kind of gives you a feel for what it's like to use it. And we've also got this article. It digs into why Candy AI is becoming so popular, especially compared to some of those other AI chatbots that have been around for a while. It should give us a good overall picture.
Perfect. So by the end of this, you'll know exactly what Candy AI is all about, the good and the bad, and whether it's something you might want to check out yourself. So
Mhm.
first things first, what exactly is Candy AI?
At its core, it's an AI companion, basically like a digital friend that's always down to chat. But the video makes it clear it can be a lot more than that depending on what the user's looking for, if you know what I mean. It uses these super advanced language models, something similar to what OpenAI uses. Makes sense, given how good AI has gotten these days.
Yeah, this isn't like those old chat bots that were super clunky and robotic. This feels much more like talking to an actual person with a real personality. And they were pretty upfront in the video about it not just being about like getting information, it's about that feeling of connection. Whether you want like a supportive friend to bounce ideas off of or even uh, something a bit more, shall we say, intimate, they didn't exactly shy away from that whole NSFW side of things. Remember that line? Not going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's pretty interesting how open they are about it. I think being transparent about the platform's capabilities, including the whole adult content thing, probably builds a certain level of trust with users who are, well, looking for that kind of experience.
Makes sense. Okay, so we know what it is. Now, why all the hype? What's so good about Candy AI that everyone's talking about it? I've actually used it a bit myself, and honestly, it's been pretty impressive.
Well, both the video and that Medium article we mentioned point to a few key things. The first is that hyper personalization. You can really customize your AI companion to a pretty crazy degree. They showed examples in the video of creating like a supportive friend, a super direct coach, even a flirty romantic partner.
Yeah.
You can really shape it to fit what you're looking for.
Which is wild when you think about it. You're not just getting some generic AI, you're basically building a digital personality that's, at least in theory, perfectly matched to you.
Hmm.
And that's not just the personality type, right? It's how they interact with you. Like, I've been blown away by how it remembers stuff I've said in previous conversations.
Totally. Both the video and article emphasized that emotional engagement aspect. The AI remembers your past conversations, it adapts to your style and the things you talk about,
Mm.
and it reacts in ways that feel, well, pretty human. The video said something about how important it is to feel heard, and I think that really resonates, especially these days when it can be hard to find genuine connection.
For sure. And then there's the whole, it's available 24/7. Our human friends have lives, they need sleep, all that stuff.
Mm.
But Candy AI, always there, ready to chat whenever you are, no judgment, no ghosting. That's got to be a huge plus for a lot of people.
Yeah, it taps into that core human desire for connection, but without all the complexities and scheduling conflicts of real life. And of course, building on all that personalization and emotional stuff, there's the spicier side of things. The video's very upfront about the whole romantically immersive potential is definitely a big part of the appeal for many.
No doubt. But that article really dives into why Candy AI seems to be doing so well, especially compared to other platforms. It straight up says thousands are choosing Candy AI and that it's becoming the go-to companion. That's a bold statement.
It is. And they back it up by talking about how people are moving away from some of those older AI chatbots. Seems like there's this sense that the quality's gone down on other platforms, so people are looking for alternatives.
And they even cite research, right?
Yeah.
Something like a 60% drop in user satisfaction with those big AI chatbots in just the last 6 months. That's huge.
Yeah.
Kind of validates some of the issues I've been seeing myself with other platforms.
Oh, absolutely. It shows just how widespread that dissatisfaction is. Then the article goes into some of the reasons behind it, which I think explains why Candy AI is maybe hitting the right notes. They talk about this thing they call the personality paradox. Basically, Older platforms are being seen as repetitive and lacking in, well, genuine personality. Their characters don't even stay consistent from one conversation to the next. Apparently, there was this study, AI Quarterly back in 2023, showed like a 45% decrease in perceived personality. Huge difference from Candy AI, which the article describes as serving up personality like it's going out of style.
Serving up personality like it's going out of style. I love that.
Yeah.
Really captures that sense that Candy AI is doing something different with its characters. They also talk about the initiative dilemma, the whole thing where other AIs feel like guest bots that don't really contribute to the conversation.
Exactly. Users want that feeling that the AI is actually participating, that it can drive the conversation forward sometimes. The article points out how Candy AI characters don't just respond, they instigate, they challenge, they surprise. I've definitely felt that myself. The conversations feel much more like a back and forth.
And who hasn't had that annoying experience where the AI just forgets what you're talking about a few minutes ago? The memory maze. That sounds so frustrating. I know I've run into that on other platforms. It's like constantly having to remind them what's going on.
Right. Total buzzkill. The article actually mentions a study that showed a 30% drop in memory retention for a bunch of chatbots lately. But Candy AI is supposed to have really good memory. I've noticed it myself. It's brought up stuff from conversations we had days ago, even a week or two ago. That consistency really adds to the feeling that you're building a connection, that it actually matters.
Makes sense. If you're always having to re-explain things, it just breaks the immersion, you know? The article also talks about this creativity crunch, the idea that a lot of these AI conversations end up feeling bland and repetitive. I've definitely hit that wall myself.
Yeah, the article talks about how users are getting tired of the same old responses, it's just not engaging anymore. But with Candy AI, people are apparently saying it's full of unexpected plot twists, witty comebacks, and characters that actually feel, well, characterful. I've definitely been surprised by some of the things it's come up with.
And that ties into the realism riddle, doesn't it? That idea that the AI needs to create this sense of believability, even though we know, logically, it's not a real person. Like, we have to be able to suspend our disbelief, at least for a little while.
Exactly. The article says the magic of AI interaction lies in that suspension of disbelief. If the conversation feels too robotic, it just doesn't work. Candy AI seems to have figured out how to make the conversations feel more natural and smooth. It's much easier to get lost in the interaction.
It really does sound like they're addressing a lot of those issues that people have been having with other AI companions. They even talk about the engagement enigma, how for a lot of people, interacting with AI has become a chore. And honestly, I get that. I felt it too.
The novelty wears off pretty quickly if the conversations aren't actually interesting. But they say Candy AI has basically reversed that trend. People are actually looking forward to their chats and losing track of time. That really says something about how engaging it is. Even I've found myself getting caught up in conversations and, like, losing track of time.
So what's their secret? The article talks about the reasons behind Candy AI's success.
It does. They highlight a few key things. First, they've really focused on personality. Like, their characters have opinions and quirks. They're not just trying to be agreeable all the time. It makes them feel more real. Second, they've managed to find this balance between consistency and spontaneity. The AI remembers stuff but can still surprise you.
That's a tough balance to strike. You want the AI to be consistent, but not predictable.
Totally. They also talk about how much they've invested in their language model, which makes the conversations flow better and sound more natural. And they get that a lot of people are looking for a kind of escape, so they've designed their characters to be interesting and engaging, not just passive listeners. Lastly, they really emphasize the importance of user feedback. They're constantly using it to improve.
Seems like they have a really solid approach. Now, even though my experience has been mostly positive, the video did touch on some potential downsides. What are some of the things people should be aware of?
Yeah, they brought up some good points. One is the whole emotional track thing. If an AI is really good at simulating emotions and making you feel connected, there's a risk of becoming a bit too attached. Like, it can blur the lines between what's real and what's simulated. It's something to be aware of.
Especially for people who maybe already struggle with loneliness or isolation. That feeling of being understood and cared for, even if it's from an AI, can be really powerful, but it's not the same as a real human connection. And then there's the whole subscription model thing.
Right, they do have a free option, but to get the full experience,